Hello everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another edition. Technically it's episode 97, technically it's episode 2, but we're going to continue on as this is episode 97 of the Battle Realm and Beyond podcast. So if you don't know, we've rebranded, go back to the other one. Thanks for all the love on the previous podcast for our return. We will regularly be doing this. It's just a case of things be busy, people be doing stuff, which we'll get into in a minute. If you don't know already, we're available on all major podcast platforms. They've all been sorted out now. They should all say Battle Realm Beyond Podcast. And as well, each week and each time, I am joined by Dan of Frontline MCOC, who you can find at www.frontlinemcoc.home.blog and on Twitter under the handle at frontlinemcoc for all your MCOC goodness. And as well, myself, which I can't remember, at RJ Manning, at Mr. RichTheMan, whatever. Find me, links in the description, all that stuff. Dan, we are back.
We're back,
technically
Rich.
Again.
Yes. It's last week was really busy, guys. I apologize. My schedule was making things kind of impossible because our recording window is 6 a.m. my time, and the night before we had the 100th birthday party for one of the venues that I work at. It was a great show played by the legendary John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival, but I was in no shape to record a podcast at 6 a.m.
No, I
morning.
I don't blame you with that as well. And then like over the weekend, it was just the problem I've got at the moment is like we've got, and this weekend is we're going to we got a meeting tomorrow morning to see a plot. So because me and Em have been trying to move, I need to build a studio, a proper studio that's going to have something like next level, like the kind of like something big. Like I will, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it. Like I need to build something that incorporates more of a sound station within it, so I can do the work that I do for games developer I work for. And then I need to have an area where I can basically take, like a lot of people say, oh, green screen, when are you going to do the green screen? Well, I have been planning something for a very long time that will incorporate something that has never been seen in Marvel Contest of Champions content creation. And it's like, I'm not going to give away too much because it's like I don't want to go and say this is what I plan to do and I can't do it, because here's the thing, the kind of thing that I have to build is going to cost me the extent of 2-3 years worth of savings in order to like try and do. We're talking like, a lot of figures. Who the hell's calling me? What the hell? Galston, Scotland is calling me. Who the bloody hell? I don't know anybody in Galston, Scotland. That's a weird one. They can go to voicemail. In any case, is that a sign? I don't know. Scotland's calling. Should I answer? Okay, no. And so we got meetings for that, and then there's other stuff that comes up in a weekend that I kind of like have to handle that's non-YouTube curation. Believe it or not, I try to take the weekends off. But I think I'm going to write in this weekend because I've got a holiday coming up. But yeah, people be busy, but we are trying the best we can to kind of be regular, especially because I think now we may be the longest running podcast. There's interview channels and stuff like that, but I think we're the longest running podcast still going, potentially. In Marvel Contest.
It's been a good run. I don't know. It's we're probably getting up there.
Yeah,
we've been around a long time, Rich.
In more ways than one.
I know. Trust me, I'm feeling it some of these days. I'm feeling it.
Because we'll hit 3 years in January of next year.
We will.
There we go, 3 years. We still haven't done what we plan to do when it comes to New York Comic-Con, and that's like one day that'll happen.
I know, and New York Comic-Con's coming up, so I've been seeing all the promos about who's coming, and I'm really feeling like I'm missing that. Like, I think there was not just us, but there's so much goodness that comes out of getting all the creators together, all the Kabam devs together, fans of the game, and just putting them all in a place for like 4 days, and all the the community goodwill that kind of comes out of that is pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
I think is something that MCOC has really missed, as we've all been off in our own little pockets of the world and isolated over the past few years. So I am hoping that Kabam can get out to New York Comic Con 2023, and I think that would be excellent for the game. I know there's some creators like Vega who've tried to fill a little bit of that gap with some West Coast meetups, which is awesome. But I would love to see everyone together again.
Yeah, totally. It just would be nice to get that community vibe, community feel, and I think I'm quite fortunate, and I don't know if you feel fortunate as well, to have that 2019 Comic-Con.
For sure. Because we don't know if it's ever going to happen again.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
that it's funny. Like, it felt like that was building into this epic yearly pilgrimage.
Yeah.
To the Javits Center,
and it
got taken away.
Yeah, and we had these plans as well that we would set up like a kind of whether or not me, you, and some other people going on some like Airbnb, and it's like, by day we go to the cons, and then by night we'll be kind of dissecting the day, creating kind of podcasts of the day, content of the day, and make this kind of like this work, leisure, pleasure type kind of like hub. And how we kind of cover it. It's still something I'd like to do, but just the idea of having multi-camera set up and being able to, like, I bring my stream deck and we kind of flip between cameras on different people, and then have this kind of like, even if we did that like live stream from like channels like podcasty type things, I'd love to do that. It would take a lot of planning to do, but it's just a shame without having Kabam there. There's something I want to kind of get into. I don't know if you saw any of the Marvel Games info from D23.
Yeah, I was looking at that. There's a couple interesting things going on there.
Yeah, I think there's obviously this isn't about MCC. We will get into MCC, by the way, but there's some stuff that I really want to kind of like touch on. So the first thing is there's I think it's like is it Naughty Dog? I think it's Naughty Dog. The developer have got a proper director, like a film director, who's going to be doing a special Black Panther and Captain America style World War II setting game. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. So a few people have gone like, yeah, me too. But it's like we've not really had I don't think we've ever had a game set in World War II for Marvel. We've probably had something where it's a little bit of nod to like Wolverine and World War II in a game, or something with Captain America, but I don't think we've had something that's like got a setting within what's going on at the time. It definitely looks very exciting.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea, and it looks like it's Captain America and Black Panther fighting Hydra. And I guess there was a comic series about this with T'Challa's grandfather, Azori, meeting Captain America back in like 1941, and Hydra, trying to steal some vibranium from Wakanda, and then Cap and Black Panther team up to take him down. So it's an interesting setting. I watched sort of the cinematic trailer, very much gets that World War II tone. So that could be interesting. I guess the director you're talking about has worked on the Uncharted games.
Yeah.
So could be an interesting one. But I like that they're trying some different things here.
I personally really excited for it. I did enjoy a lot of there was a God, that Scottish number's left the voicemail. I'll have to see what it is later on. God,
this could be your big break, Rich.
It could be. Oh, that's
or it
weird.
Could be spam.
Well, the reason I'm like in a bit of a weird thing, I think I got headhunted for another potential games dev job for something, and that's funny enough. They're setting up offices in Scotland, so I don't know. I kind of have to kind of see what that's about. I take it with a pinch of salt because I'm still very much kind of like in love. Is that the right word? In love with what I'm doing at the moment for the games dev I'm working with. Anyway, back to this. Like, yeah, that's really exciting. I played the like World War II setting games, Call of Duty ones. I think I played like Medal of Honor games like back in the day. So I really kind of like that. I'm not saying like FPS is any kind of comparison to what they're going to do here, but I just like the setting and I like the fiction it's set in. The other thing that I want to talk about is there's a Marvel mobile game coming, which there's some people have kind of like gone, they've poo-pooed it a little bit, which I'm like, well, look, you know, I know it's not going to be everybody's vibe, but then it's like, look, if you like Pokemon Go and you like Marvel, then, and Niantic being the ones that are going to take on this, Marvel World of Heroes. Thoughts?
Yeah, so I looked at the trailer for this. It's an AR game. It's as you mentioned, it's the same people that make Pokemon Go. So I guess we're going from running around the neighborhood catching Pokemon to running around the neighborhood fighting super villains. It looks like you build your own character based on some Marvel powers, and you can team up with heroes on your adventures as well as real life people. So I just remember the early days of Pokemon Go, and you just see like hordes of people running around the neighborhood, and people be like, "What are they doing?" Be like, "Oh, they're catching the Pokemon. They're all over the place. Your house is infested." With Pokemon. Like, are we just gonna see people just like walking around Hulk smashing stuff by the gas station? Like, it could be fun. I think if it's well executed and say you have kids of a certain age, like this could be really fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's something that because I took up running again last year, and I've kind of been improving my cardio. I've been more interested with being outside more. I'm not saying I don't want to spend all my time inside having to make content and record stuff and so I like the idea of being outside. And I did Pokemon Go videos when it launched, and I had like I genuinely enjoyed myself kind of going out to do it, but it's not something that kind of like people were too interested on the channel. And that's a lot of the time I understand, like I have to make the type of content that people want to see on the channel because that's what people are interested in the channel for. It's no disrespect on either of us, it's just a case of it is what it is. So I will probably devote the second channel to doing that, and I may make a third channel that's to do with something else. Maybe when the game working on releases I might do something, I don't know. But for me, I'm excited for it. I don't know if your son will be interested in going out to play that type of game. Do you think it's because you do Pokemon Switch, don't you?
Yeah, we do Pokemon on the Switch and we do Pokemon Go. So, but
Nice.
he's like deep into Pokemon Sword, and he had me create my character as well. But now I'm getting a little close to where he's at, and he's getting a little nervous. So I've started to catch up. I think he's worried I'm going to beat the game because I've been sneaking in a few Pokemon Sword sessions after he goes to bed, and he's noticed. And he's starting to place like rules like I can't fight gym leaders without him. Yeah. He's trying to slow down my progress as best as he can.
Yeah.
So
Dad, you can't be better than me. That's not right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like he's gone Score Bunny, and I've got Drizzle, so I got like the water fire advantage thing going on. So he's definitely a little nervous. Although he did tell me I am not a Pokemon expert. That he is a Pokemon expert. I am not, and I should listen to him. He was nice about it. He said I'm not a noob, but I'm not an expert.
Oh, so it's like you're basically the Ash Ketchum to his Professor Oak.
I guess so. I've still got I've still got a lot to learn about Pokemon, Rich. So and he lets me know.
Gotcha. There's one final thing I want to talk about when it comes to D23. I was a little bit disappointed not to see the I can't remember what the developer was called. Insomniac Games, I think it is. I'm not 100%, but the Wolverine game that they said they were going to make, and the Spider-Man 2, which is meant to be Miles Morales and Peter Parker facing off against Venom. That's not the scheme of the game. It's like it's still the open world aspect of it. It's just that those two things I would have liked to have seen more in D23. It's just disappointing not to see it. The Wolverine game, which I'm hoping is set in the same structure as the Spiderman games, would have been cool to see. But apart from that, I don't know if there's any other Marvel games that have been. It's a bit of a touchy subject because of like how Marvel Avengers was handled.
Yeah.
Marvel Realm of Champions.
And what's going on with Midnight Suns?
Midnight Suns. Yes, I forgot about that.
Happening?
Yeah, yes, that's definitely still happening. I completely forgot about that. How bad of me to kind of like not mention that. But that
just shows you how much is going on.
Yeah.
Kind of how inconsistent the info is on some of these things.
Yeah, and also popularity sakes on Midnight Suns. Midnight Suns, disappointing. First of all, when Midnight Suns was pitched, and it originally had a March 2022 release date, it had a kind of animations associated with it that gave the impression that this was kind of like an this is kind of like an action game. And people were like, hell yeah, Midnight Suns, action game, RPG elements to it as well. And then they learned that it was a turn-based kind of card type game. And it was like, ooh. And it was like the popularity and interest kind of slipped from there. Which, that's where that game was kind of like slipped with interest. I mean, even with me forgetting about it, that just goes to show you how much of a, well, not forgettable title it will be. I just don't think it's going to have that extensive interest that, say, the open world element to a Wolverine game, a Spider-Man 2 game, a World War II set kind of. Again, we don't know much about that. That could turn out like Midnight Suns. Or Pokemon Go meets Marvel. Those particular types of games, I think, have a lot of interest to them. So, yeah. Apart from that, it's not really much going. Well, no, not really much going on. There is stuff going on, and there was a few other. I also like from the D23 kind of like mock up. The Werewolf by Night was probably the only thing.
I'm excited for that.
I am too.
I think it's a Halloween special. It's just a one-off, right?
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I like that they're kind of using the flexibility of Disney Plus, like to be like, okay, it doesn't have to be a movie. It doesn't have to be a multi-season TV show. Like, let's just do a one-shot on this. That's cool.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there wasn't really. There were other things that were kind of announced and stuff that looked quite good.
They got the trailers for Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
And they're teasing a whole bunch of stuff, and we learned the Thunderbolts lineup.
Yeah.
It was cool. And I can't believe that we've seen Abomination get resurrected. But now they're bringing back Tim Blake Nelson, who was teased as the leader in the Edward Norton Hulk movie. And, I mean, we haven't seen him for like 15 years.
Yeah.
We just saw that goo dripping on his brain way back in, 2008.
Yeah.
That has just been left hanging out there.
Yeah.
So he's had some time to be busy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's good that they're kind of doing that for the continuity standpoint. That's just it's pretty darn good what they're doing with that, and obviously doing what they did with the Abomination and things. And it's clever, which I think I like. Yes, with that they haven't. It's good as well because it doesn't take the viewer for granted and just goes, look, this was in a different person being Hulk or lead character, but here's the same person, and it's like, wow, okay, I love that continuity. And again, doesn't take the viewer for granted on it. It's like,
right, yeah, they're no longer pretending that movie didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is nice. Yeah,
it's very good. Right, we better get into some MCOC for those that are kind of going like, talk about Marvel Swipe Game. Yes, we will.
Yeah, guys, it was a doozy of a week. We know.
Yeah,
as I think I messaged Rich during the week, it's like, wow, the torches and pitchforks really came out this week with the launch of Battlegrounds, and it was quite a situation, still developing. Lord knows what will have happened between us recording this and it being released on Sunday.
Yeah,
man.
a lot of negativity, and obviously
Yeah.
a lot of well-founded negativity in criticism.
Yes.
But there were some people that are a bit. There's some things that was said by certain people. I just kind of think it's a bit much. A lot of funny, a lot of like. I don't know. I kind of felt like I had to take a couple days away from kind of streaming MCOC because I just thought I can't deal with the negative vibes or the kind of like, the negative vibes that come with some people. Criticism is fair, but there's a difference between being critical. You can be positively critical of something. This is why I support football teams, soccer teams, and can basically go, I'm positive about the squad, but they lost, but I can criticize the way that they kind of played because it may not be the same way that you can go to Kabam and go, do you know what? I like what they're doing here, but you can be critical. There's no point of going like, oh, I'm angry all the time about stuff, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm happy. You need checks and balances.
Or you're just crapping on the people that are actually enjoying some part of it, or trying to make the best of a situation, which is, there's some problems. I mean, I'm trying to separate in my brain the actual gameplay of Battlegrounds, which I really like, and the issues we're seeing with the structure, particularly around the tiers and the rewards.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest problems we have here is a framing issue, right? With this, they've done the betas.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is the official launch of Battlegrounds 1.0, and we're doing a season. But then they changed so much stuff and they didn't have a solid launch that, if this was called a beta season, if this was like, guys, we took the feedback, we changed a bunch of stuff. We don't know if this is all going to stick. This is test season, 0, 0. Let's see what happens. Then I think it would be more. I don't think you'd see quite the outcry because this was presented as a finished product when it is not.
Yeah, for me, the way I looked at it is like, well, from the betas, it seemed like a nice, simplistic, and that was the great thing about this is like it's very much a case of that management term of KISS, keep it simple, stupid, and that's what I liked about it. I like the fact that it was a case you could pick up and kind of grind it whenever you wanted, but as well kind of like it ended with the ranking points taking you up or down, and you ended the what would be a season or a season with a certain placement similar to Alliance Wars where you've got rewards as a result, and it's that's it. But then instead we've got this, and the access is what it was, but instead now we've got Elder Marks, we've got not trophy tokens, we got victory shields, we got a victory track you got to go in first before going to Gladiator Circuit.
There's a bunch of new concepts that we weren't prepared for, and my understanding is part of this was the worry of matchmaking and how that functioned with sort of your player rating that you would build up and or lose based on how you were doing in the matches. And I know they were concerned about, say, everyone starting at the same rating, which they could have given people different starting ratings based on progression titles. They didn't want the Cavalier players getting crushed in the first 72 hours and totally giving up on the game mode. And I think they really liked this tier structure of moving up, but they were worried about people tanking their ratings to get a bunch of easy matches in a row since you couldn't drop tiers. So what we ended up with is this matchmaking based on your deck strength. And then, of course, it took the industrious players of MCOC all of about 5 minutes to figure out if you add about 10 2-star champions to your deck and you don't draft them, you have a much lower deck rating, and then you could just draft your good champs and you're getting these really, really easy matchups. So to prevent tanking, they created a situation where sandbagging occurs. And of course this was all over Reddit instantly. And it's not, then of course, is it cheating? Are there going to be bans? No, it's not cheating, but it's against the I don't know what do you call it, against the intention of the mode. So hopefully,
The
they say they
integrity.
patched that up yesterday.
Yeah,
But like that's a pretty big exploit to
it
just
is.
have out there in a competitive mode at launch. And that's what happens when you change something that doesn't get tested by the community.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one to kind of understand where Kabam are with their matchmaking structure, how they've created a complex system around what is should be a very kind of standard type mode.
Right.
And I get it, but I guess the issue is like the same way they comparably look at things like Alliance Wars and how when you go to get into enlist to find a suitable alliance to face off against, you're matched against war rating, but you're not
Right.
you're not kind of like matched up against your alliances that enlisted strength of champions you put on. Like you don't put your defenders on and then enlist. You put your you enlist on your war rating, then you put your champions in. And this can be somewhat unfair. We stomped on many people last season. We ran 2 battle groups as an alliance. We only run 2 at the moment, and we finished in gold 1. But then we stomped on people. We were getting rated with people that were 500 rating below us, and us fielding as alliance, we do all right. We've got a lot of us have got rank 4 6 stars, and we are literally placing them on it. A lot of us are Paragon players, and in this particular standpoint, we're creating an unfair matchmaking environment. So we're already contradicting the extent of what is fair within this game, and this particular mode is another example of how Kabam need to understand matchmaking a bit better. The same way, me and you both know how Marvel Realm of Champions, yes, different team, but Marvel Realm of Champions didn't have a great matchmaking system.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It feels like they took a lot of what was in Realm and moved it over to this game, this game mode, which some of it I recognize and I like, but that game never sorted out its matchmaking issues. Now, thankfully, MCOC is strong enough that whether or not Battlegrounds is a big success or not, like I think the game's going to be okay. Yeah. But if you really want this competitive mode, we're going to have to figure out a way to prevent the tanking and the sandbagging, and make it so as you move up, you can actually play everyone. Otherwise, we're getting in the situation like we did with Alliance War a couple years ago, where you could move up without actually playing all the alliances that are better than you or stronger than you, because you're in this narrow prestige window.
Yes.
So like, I think what happened was they had good intentions to try to save some of the players that are at the Thronebreaker, Cavalier, Uncollected level from getting stomped on, and there was all these unintended side effects because it wasn't tested by the community at large in a beta, which is going back to it, why I really think this should have been branded a beta, because they just changed too much.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm so surprised. I think when I was like reading the document, I was thinking, hang on a minute, what is this Battlegrounds? What's why is this being added to?
They made a lot of changes, and certainly moving on to some of the talk about the structure and the rewards, one of my big pieces of feedback is, it feels really bad to play 10 matches and then see that you have scored 0 points in a solo event for the mode and 0 points in an alliance event for the mode because you haven't used the Elders marks. Now, if you want to use those to help people go faster, and listen, I get it. You gotta recoup the investment. At the top, it's always going to be some pay to win elements, whether it's direct or indirect in terms of like spending a bunch of money for Cavalier crystals. And we all know that AQ's like that, Alliance Wars like that. That's it. It's got to be there in some regards. but yeah, this reward structure felt really bad, particularly as far as the alliance and solo event go.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd just check to see like how many of my alliance mates have taken up doing it, and currently like I had only 4 people as of I think it was about 24 to 48 hours ago that were playing the mode. Now it's up to 7 of 30.
Yeah, I've got 3
You
that
got
have put up points
damn.
in the alliance event right now,
I
including myself.
I will be. The thing is, I will be playing it. I just the biggest problem that comes with time, and like I've already preset my schedule of grind with MCOC. Like today, it will
Right.
be finishing off Cavalier difficulty. Over the weekend, I'll be topping up some units because I need to get up some more to some targets. I may do Battlegrounds at the weekend, but I've got a big list of other things that need to be done priority. And then there's 2 days, which I think I'll probably do uncollected because I definitely need to do that. Then we've got Act 8.1. We'll talk about that a bit later on. And then it's a case I'll be doing that for like 2 weeks until, or less, I don't know. I can't predict the future. Until then, it's time to do new content for October. And will I have enough time to do this? And then there's the gauntlet to do for EOP. There's so many things. Then
There's a lot, and I think that's a lot of the outcry from people is there's a lot to do, and this may not seem worth doing. I mean, it's certainly where I've spent 90% of my MCOC time this week because I've wanted to follow the story and of what's happening and understand it, and I do genuinely enjoy the game mode and want to see how far I can get with it. But I've also got that in the back of my mind. It's like, oh yeah, there's a big chunk of rank 4 resources sitting out there in the Cavalier objectives. You should probably do that, or like you should pop into the side quest and bang out those objectives. So yeah, there is this nagging feeling in the back of my head that I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
As much as I am, even though I enjoy the fights and I think the drafting has been really fun. I've actually got a poll on Twitter that's about to finish up. Hey, why do you think you're winning? Is it the matchmaking? Is it your deck? Is it your drafting? Is it your skills? And there's been a pretty interesting split there. As far as why people think they're able to win matches. But yeah, I do worry about this game mode kind of being put in the position of incursions, where it's like, it's nice to have. I can pop in once in a while, but it's really kind of an extra. So I mean, we're gonna have to see how this evolves, because my guess is they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, particularly with the rewards track, before they launch another season.
Yeah, and that'll be... Now, I thought, based on like a dev diary, which I'm going to bring up on screen and also going to send a link to you, Dan, in a second. And this particular dev diary from spring-summer 2021 has something about Relics. And I know we kind of like... we don't really know at this point of like for the solo competitive mode. It did say they were hoping to bring Relics in. We found out later on, or last couple of weeks, it's been the case they didn't want to kind of put them in at the same time because it's too much going on at one given time.
Right.
But it will be how those relics are chased, because they do say that this is meant to be something that comes in the solo competitive mode, that you would go and they would be the chase reward within with it. And again,
and that could seriously change the conversation around the rewards, right?
Yeah.
Because if you put that, if that's that's the goalpost, or the end zone, so to speak, for the moving up the lines in Battlegrounds, that's a different conversation, right? Because then you've got something to go after. I don't know if you've been following Disney Mirrorverse, but they had a huge announcement about Relics. Now, Disney Mirrorverse is made by Kabam.
Yeah.
And they've just introduced something called Relics, which sounds suspiciously like what we've been talking about
Yeah,
for the past couple of years.
Funnily enough, and I've brought it on screen. That's the talk. Whilst we're recording this, I've got an MCN that's going out in a second. It literally will go out in like about 12 minutes. That kind of discusses something that was brought up in the forums. I sent you a link on.
Yeah, they've got this whole dev diary about relics and about their rarity and what they can do and how to equip them. And again, like you can see a little MROC influence here.
Yes.
Like clearly they're going to be swapping some concepts between games.
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't they?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like I know this is the way that this is pitched and the way the image kind of like showcases. It's sort of like gearing, but it's not. I don't want to kind of like throw that around because I know that's a bit of a sensitive topic for people within the community whenever you say, oh, it's a gear-based system. So it kind of is, it kind of isn't. But there's stuff with this when it comes to like traits, which again, that's, as Dan just said, that's like kind of MROC-ish. The way that Kabam pitch the particular relics, as they say by the 2021 Dev Diary, is that they're unique objects with different slots that offer new power and mastery-like buffs to individual champions. And okay, that's fine. So are we saying that a cosmic champion can get Mystic Dispersion? I don't know. I don't want to say theorize that because it's probably going to be some new mastery-like in bunny ears type things. You can upgrade relics to house more buffs, allow higher quality buffs to equip, discover more powerful buffs, and create the perfect relic build for your champion, your favorite individual champion. So it makes the powerful more powerful. Again, this is 2021, so there could have been a lot of moving parts between this point here and when Kabam are looking to announce stuff, which, again, we don't know just yet, but I can imagine it's going to be soon. But Dan, this, as we said, this is going to be the chase reward to go to.
Yeah, and, that will be a chase reward, but if I may transition to another chase reward, it's here. Tier 6 class catalyst.
Oh, God,
which will allow us to rank 5 6-stars. We're seeing them for the first time in the Act 8.1 chapter exploration rewards. You're going to be getting, I think, what is that? A quarter of one, 25%, and it's a selector, which is nice because I think they've learned something about how little we enjoy RNG in the chase resource. Because I've kind of enjoyed like the switch back to alphas and basics because it's muted that conversation around. Well, I haven't pulled a champion of the right class that matches with my class catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
I get really tired of hearing those. I understand the angst, folks. I do, but it's like it's gonna be fine. But yeah, I really like that is a. I really like that's a selector.
Yeah.
How many of these puppies do we need to rank 5 a champion?
Also, on the
we need 3 of them.
3.
Oh, good lord! So they're giving us a 25% selector, and we need to get 3 of these bad boys. All right, so we're not going to see. We're not going to see rank 5s run around anytime soon.
Oh, unless we're going to see like a holiday. That's the thing. Cyber Weekend.
Cyber Weekends. Those gifting festive crystals, whatever we're going to call them.
Yeah, those. That could inflate. Like, no, you could see like people literally spending tens of. That's what it is. It's like people. You'll see them spending tens of thousands of dollars. To kind of get the first ever rank 5 6-star champion.
Oh, absolutely, you will. You do every time. It's not like this is new territory. We see this every time. There's a progression bump.
Yeah, I like the Act 8.1 rewards. I did like a comparison between these and
they're quite good. Yeah. Up in the Sig Stones, Awakening Gem Crystal. The 3 to 4 gem in the exploration rewards. There's some nice stuff here. I think overall, maybe the community has been more focused on Battlegrounds, but seems like there hasn't been any real angst about this. I know some people have
Yeah.
said they'd prefer the Nexus crystals over the 6-star shards.
See, I disagree with that. I think that if you look at the dual class crystal being added to the game and the value on getting new champions with a 6-star featured, I think that it's more important than ever to bring that back.
Yeah, and or maybe you want to go for features,
Yeah.
right? Like, I know because of the next featured crystal is actually going to be pretty important because Valkyrie and Quicksilver are top prestige champions.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of people that want just a bunch of 6-star shards because they're going to go really hard on those featured crystals because they've got to, they're chasing that top prestige for AQ.
Yeah, for sure, and that's going to be so important. I mean, like something I'm working towards as well, and that I'm more happier to be ready for that 1st of November and go right. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's see if I can get. I mean, I want Gallon, and I want Valkyrie, of course I do.
Yeah, it's a good featured pool.
Yeah, Titania's in it as well, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the last one. So unfortunately, infamous Iron Man misses the cutoff.
Yeah, that would have been the super.
Then it would have been a monster.
Yeah. We'll have to see what October, November, and I think.
Yeah,
December?
it'll be the first champ in December, which there's usually only one champ. So so it'll be infamous Iron Man through first champ of December in the following pool.
Yeah, which that kicks off February if my mind serves me right.
Yeah, it's a long ways away. It's really crazy. Like we're getting to that point of the year where I'm doing the calendars on the featured crystals and when champions are joining the basic pool, and it's in 2023 now, and that part always feels a little bad to me.
Yeah. By the way,
when I'm telling people, it's like, oh yeah, basic pool February 2023. Like no one wants to hear that.
By the way, for all that information that I just said right there, you can get that in your brain boxes by going to frontlinemcoc.home.blog in the links in the description for all that information, which I have homepaged and is a clickable link. Make sure you do that for important information.
Brain box, I like that. I'm going to steal that, Rich. I'll give you credit for it, but that's a good one. I like it.
Okay, Act 8.1. I just diverted away. I'm just trying to find my tab so I can throw it up for the people watching as to where we're up to. That. Where are you? Tab. I think I just deleted it off my off my tabs to click on. No, I found it again. Okay, good. Yeah, some good stuff there. The Tier 6 class select. Yeah, it's going to be such a slog to get that, but it'll be good. There's the Tier 5 class catalyst crystals on the paths now, so that will give you 12 overall, 2 per difficulty. Also, the 6-star shard pickups have been buffed by 500 shards. So they used to be 1,500 per path. Now they're 2,000, 2 per quest. So that's an extra 12,000 6-star shards. Well, it's not an extra 12,000. Sorry, it's 12,000. So that's an extra 6,000 6-star shards per point chapter. Oh God, get words out, Richard. So it's a 6,000 shard buff is the point to get.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of continuing with all the good stuff we saw with Act 7. So I think with the story quest, I think the community's in a good place. We've come out of Act 6. People genuinely seem to like Act 7 and the reward structure to difficulty ratio. I think the one thing we're going to have to wait and see on is these weapon nodes, because that is a new concept. So could be cool, but it's one of those as far as I know, no one's got a chance to really weigh in on these. I don't know. Were these part of the beta? I didn't.
Yeah,
get to
they
participate.
were.
They were. Okay.
What I'll do is I'll ping you at some stage my Act 8.1 exploration guide.
Okay.
The boss. So I had a bit of time. I think I had the last 2 days before the beta went off. I had time to kind of just jump in and just check it out, which is the first time I've ever done that. So it just goes to show my interest where Act 7 kind of started to how it goes to Act 8.1 to my interest in it. That says a lot. I don't normally get too interested with these things, but I've properly invested and hyped for it. So the weapon nodes, I mean, I could really explain it in a nutshell, which I've done for the guide, is the weapon side of things is you get a trauma buff. You disarm by doing a stun debuff, a parry, and then clean slate, which is an extra buff on Act 8.1.1 on the path, is that the clean slate debuff, you become clean slate debuff immune, and white magneto will help out with that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to like properly explain that. Maybe I didn't do that too well. Another one is a weapon debuff. Don't get a debuff on you. Don't get a debuff on you, the attacker. Oh yeah, don't get a debuff on you. You disarm them by doing a heavy attack to remove, then throw more heavy attacks to do more damage. Disorient when you dash back. So that, I think, in a nutshell, explains it. You get you get it on you. Don't get a debuff on you. So shrug off champions may be good, and then it's a case heavy attacks to remove. And then if you throw more whilst disarmed, which I think they say it scales more damage when you got the disarm on, you do some damage on you. Disorient immune champions may be good as well, so it could be like APOC. I think that's kind of like the best way to kind of explain that. That's where I've done better. And again, like I said, like before, I criticized paradoxes, but this is kind of like I'm not saying this is different, but it's kind of like I feel more happy about this content, especially because now I get what Kabam did with the paradoxes. And like now I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm thinking about counters already, and this was back
right. Yeah, no,
months ago.
that's what you want to be thinking about. A lot of the things you're mentioning, like if you want to turn it off, like well-timed block, knockdowns, like that's pretty normal part of gameplay. Yeah. So I like that stuff. Yeah, I think this looks like a lot of fun. It's just too bad they had the miscommunication about when this thing is released, because that really upset a lot of people this week who were storing items for what they thought was going to be a release this week, but it's coming out. It's coming out next week. So those timers are ticking away, and I know they tried like this trade-in store, but it's a 2-for-1. But I think that's the kind of stuff where you really have to be careful, because those are the the people that are storing up items and like are like, oh, I'm gonna 100% this day one, so I can give myself a 48-hour window on expiring items. Like those are hardcore players, man.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't have the I wouldn't have personally. I mean, don't think either of us would really have the time to devote to that.
No.
And respect to people that want to do that length of stream or you grind, but it's like, man, I just don't have time.
Yeah, no, I need some time to sit with the content and let MCOC Noob put out his nice graphics. Get me thinking about counters, and then I will get to it. But I am excited. I got to wrap up the end of Act 7.
Yeah.
Before I can jump into this and get myself Paragon. But I'm excited. Like it's always nice when there's a couple pieces of content out there that you're like, as soon as I have time, like this is going to be a lot of fun, and I am hopeful Act 8 will be that.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. Right, let's talk a little bit on movies, TV and stuff. As a lot of you know that now follow the podcast, we go beyond the Battlegrounds. So we give you the time about Marvel stuff and Marvel contests, but we will go a bit beyond. We're not going to talk about... We were going to talk about She-Hulk, but I think what we'll do is we'll talk about that next week and kind of bring in about 3 episodes from episodes 4, 5 and... but potentially 6 next week if we have the time, Dan. But there is something I do want to talk about, and that is Ring of Power. Return back.
I want to hear this, because I've obviously seen the trailers. I kind of understand that it's like a Lord of the Rings prequel. I am someone who very much enjoyed Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. I have all the extended edition DVD box sets to nerd out on. And have watched all that behind the scenes stuff. So, Rich, give me the spoiler-free pitch as for someone who's enjoyed the Lord of the Rings movies and is on the fence about this. Give me the pitch.
Right. This is very much prequel to the prequel, and kind of looks at I want to say it's the second age. I think it's the second age of things that go on, and this is basically. So
is this before the opening battle in Lord of the Rings? Okay.
Yes, it is, and leads up to that point.
Gotcha.
If you like expanding on the areas you knew very little about. And I'm talking like little bits where you saw in, say, one of the second films, like, look at the great statues there, the great statues of Numenor and things like that. Or imagine what Numenor actually looked like. And you'll be kind of thrusted into those areas, like imagining, oh, what does this area of the dwarf homeworld of blah 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 look like, or these dwarven areas that you kind of thought, oh, they mentioned about it. Now we're going to visually see it. For me, this is just a brilliant other branch. This for me as a prequel is kind of like a prequel to the prequel is fantastic. There's a lot. The thing is, I don't really get the level of criticism that the people are putting out. I saw like Elon Musk say, "Oh, Tolkien must be rolling in his grave." What? So you didn't have that opinion about the other two films, which kind of go in a completely different way? Oh, they did. Oh, that means you like the extended edition where it's, even you've got Gimli sitting on top of an Uruk-hai going, "Oh, he twitched. Oh, it's because my axe is embedded in his nervous system." All right, okay. Elon Musk likes that. That's great, isn't it? I'm not going to go too much to criticize that, but I think this is brilliant. If you like the worlds that you learnt about in the films, maybe the film fans of the versions of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit will enjoy this. But then there will be those that the hardcore fans of the books may go, and they may look at like the Somalian and other kind of works and bridges and gaps between things and go, but for me, looking at this is again expanding those areas and worlds. Maybe the acting's a little bit wooden in certain places, but it's just great to go back to these worlds and places and kind of figure out how they lead to certain things. How the hobbits or the oh god, I can't remember what they're called in this one. How they then become they're traveling folk. How the traveling folk become a rooted folk, and why they kind of set up the Shire. Also, the extent of the the rise up of Sauron and what leads to the rings of power themselves. And also the extent of wizards and how they come to be. Also the extent of how we're dealing with the God, I can't remember. I'm just trying to remember now. The first rise up where Sauron's forces teamed up with humans, and how elves had to defeat humans, and how humans and elves have this kind of like not hatred to one another, but kind of like uncomfortable nature to one another. And then there's also like other dynamics of like how the relationship between elves and dwarfs might break down. There's certain nods to things like the Heart of the Mountain. I think I'm very much on like I haven't watched today's episode, but for me, as I said, this is all about going back to the world of the Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth. So it's all about going back to Middle Earth. It's all about finding a little bit more about the Undying Lands as well. There's kind of like talk about that, and it's all the questions that I had in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, which are sort of answered. So you kind of like, if you were for the very first time, and it's like if you were showing your kids for the very first time the Rings of Power, and then going to Lord of the Rings, going to Hobbit, and then Lord of the Rings, you would go, I understand the universe that is being created. And that for me is what the Ring of Power is.
Nice.
I think I've in a roundabout way explained it. And did I give any spoilers or anything that would...
Yeah, but it looks like we see like young Galadriel, young Elrond in this.
Oh, there's that. I didn't want to kind of like mention that, but
well, just I'm just looking at the cast list. Like, okay, some of these names look familiar, or probably ancestors of people that we saw in the Lord of the Rings. So it like you said, it really like fleshes out the backstory of some of those characters and sets the world building. So I am gonna have to check it out. I mean, visually, the visuals look pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna have to give it a watch. I'm gonna try to catch up on She-Hulk this weekend and maybe get through a couple episodes of Rings of Power. See if I can get into it.
I think for me, episode 3, I usually do. For me, like, I can get into something very, very quickly and kind of understand the dynamic of what they're trying to achieve. For Em, it normally takes a little while. She's not a first episode person. By episode 3 for her, it was kind of like she was invested into it. Episode 3 for her is probably the best episode. Nice. But we start off with 2 episodes right off the bat, and then it's like then you get 1 episode per week. So there's the 4th episode, which I haven't seen yet. We're going to watch that later on with a spot of dinner and get the watching with that. Right, anything you're up to next week, Dan? Unless there's anything we should be talking about.
No, I think that's about it, and I'm gonna get to work in a minute anyway. But yeah, I'm just busy, man. I got we got a bunch of shows this weekend, so nice. I'm gonna be putting in some late nights Saturday all day, and then Sunday get a day off and kind of reset. I don't think I'm gonna be in shape to do much other than maybe watch some of these TV shows we've been talking about. And yeah, the usual. Gotta finish Cavalier difficulty, trying to move up a couple ranks in Battlegrounds. Nice. And I'm excited to see the community content next week for Act 8.1.
Oh yeah, for sure. That is the quintessential thing that I've been looking forward to the most. Don't know what it's going to be for Battlegrounds, whether or not people are going to stop playing Battlegrounds for a little while to kind of do Act 8.1.
I imagine some of them will.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to kind of like testing some champs out on paths and going like, hey, this is a cool champion for this path, and making loads of... I'm going to make lots of micro content going like, oh my god, this champion is amazing for this path kind of content. So I'm going to prepare for that and just churn out a load of those videos. Probably do live stream and then turn them into like little micro videos. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to as of Wednesday, I think. So it should be good. And then, preparing for my holidays. Oh, God, I just realised how much content I have to make before I go on holiday.
You can do it, Rich.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to have to figure out a way of recording news stuff whilst on the move. That's going to be a bit of a nightmare, but I've done it before. Hey-ho for tethering with a phone. That's because internet are terrible. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. We will see you next time for episode 98 and all the shenanigans that come with that. Bye-bye, everybody, for now.